Hello friends, today we will read the chapter number 3 of 7th class English, the desert. This chapter will give us a deep information about the deserts. So let's get started. Those of us who live in regions covered with forests and surrounded by hills may find it difficult to imagine what a desert is really like. It means the people who live in forests where there are many trees and hills. Hills means pahadiyan. So it is very difficult for those people to even imagine that what kind of be the desert. The popular belief is that it is an endless stretch of sand where no rains fall and therefore no vegetation grows. So, popular belief means most of the people think or assume there is only sand. Endless stretch means area covered with sand. दूर दूर तक रेत ही रेत. And rain does not fall there. Because of that, no vegetation or plants can grow there. It is dry, hot, waterless, and without shelter. The desert used to be totally dry, hot, and there is not any kind of shelter. Shelter, you can say a temporary housing or some place with shade. But this is not entirely correct. But this is not entirely correct. The people, for those who have studied it, the desert can be a beautiful place. The people who have studied about the desert, they know, or you can say they say that desert can also be a beautiful place. It is a home of a variety of people, animals, and plants that have learned to live under very hot and dry conditions. As many people think that nobody can live in deserts, but that is not correct. A variety of means various. Many people and animals and plants used to be there, or you can say live there, and they have learned how to live in very hot and dry conditions. True, the ground is not always hidden by a cover of grass, plants, and trees as it is in the other climates. And this is also true that in deserts, ground is not always covered with grass, plants. इट मीन्स जो डेजर्ट में एरिया होता है वो हमेशा ही ग्रास से कवर्ड नहीं होता थ्रू आउट द ईयर. But whenever it rains, which is rare, rare means बहुत कम, desert flowers bloom and the sight can be as rewarding as that of any tropical garden. But when it rains in the desert, the flowers bloom and that scene can be same as the scene of any tropical area. Tropical area means the area which is full of plants and greenery. A desert is not always a flat, unchanging wasteland of dry sand. It means the surface of desert is not always flat and not unchanging. Means it remains changing. There can be mountains and hills of sand. Mean जो हमेशा फ्लैट नहीं होता. There can be mountains, बड़े पहाड़ and hills, छोटे छोटे पहाड़ियाँ वहाँ पे हो सकती हैं. It may have an oasis, big or small. An oasis is like a green island in the middle of a desert where a spring or a well gives plants and trees a better chance to grow. Now, desert can have a small or big oasis. और oasis क्या होते हैं? It means oasis is like a green island in sand. There will be plants and trees also. Like हर जगह पे रेत ही रेत है. And there is a small pond of water. और जहाँ पे plants and trees भी होंगे. A desert may be hot like the Thar or cold like Ladakh. Now, desert can be hot also and cold also. The hot one, like Thar Desert in Rajasthan, or cold also, just like there is one in Ladakh. But generally speaking, if a place has little or no water and vegetation, people usually call it a desert. पर जो यूजली जो लोग होते हैं, अगर if any place is without water and plants, People just call that place a desert. Some deserts are almost totally without water. Now, some deserts used to be really without water. And in such places, strong wind blows, raising heaps of sand and depositing them as a mounds. And at such places, the strong wind blows, बहुत तेज हवा चलती है और जो सैंड के वो माउंट्स बन जाते हैं, मीन्स छोटे छोटे पहाड़ियों टाइप। एंड दीज आर कॉल्ड सैंड ड्यून्स, जिनको कि सैंड ड्यून्स बोलते हैं। एंड दैट शिफ्ट एंड मूव एंडलेसली अक्रॉस द डेजर्ट। और जो सैंड ड्यून्स हैं वो शिफ्ट होते रहते हैं और आगे बढ़ते रहते हैं। जैसे जिस डायरेक्शन में हवा चलेगी तो वो हीप्स ऑफ सैंड्स मूव होते रहेंगे। Few plants can survive on such dry and shifting sands. So this is the reason कि बहुत कम plants जो हैं those can grow on very dry and shifting sand. All living things need water in order to survive. Now, as we all know that every living thing, whether animal, man or plants, they all need water to live. The few plants and animals that live in deserts have developed the ability to require less water than most plants and animals. But in deserts, there are some plants and animals who have become able to need less water. Like हम जिस भी जगह पे जाते हैं जहाँ का जो एटमॉस्फेयर होता है, हम उस अकॉर्डिंग खुद को एडजस्ट करते हैं। और उसी तरह से जो सम प्लांट्स और एनिमल्स हैं उन्होंने खुद को डेजर्ट के एटमॉस्फेयर के अकॉर्डिंग एडजस्ट कर लिया है। And the camel, popularly known as the ship of the desert, can drink a lot of water at one time. As we know that camel works as a means of transport in desert. So that's why camel is called the ship of the desert, and it can drink a lot of water at one time. Camels can do without water for days together. The writer says that camels drink a lot of water at one time and can live for many days without water. The reason is they sweat very little. And the reason behind that is that the camels sweat very little, means उनको पसीना बहुत कम आता है. We sweat because we must keep our body temperature constant. Now it means that to maintain the temperature of our body, we need to sweat. We sweat when it gets hot and this cools the body. And when it gets hot, our body sweats, means पसीना body से बाहर निकल आता है, so that our body can become cool. And camels can stand high body temperature. But जो camels होते हैं, they can tolerate high temperature. They don't need to sweat and can therefore retain the water they drink for long periods of time, because उनको पसीना नहीं आता. So अब जब पसीना नहीं आएगा तो वो जो पानी उन्होंने पिया है उनको काफ़ी देर तक वो बॉडी में रख सकते हैं, and they can use when they need. Smaller desert animals do not drink water. Now, there are smaller animals also, and they don't drink water. Why? Because there is no water for them to drink. They burrow underground during the hot day and come out at night to eat. Now, burrow means to move underground, नीचे जाना. They go under the ground during the hot day, and at night they come out to eat something. Some of them eat other animals and get the water they need from the moisture in the meat. Now, because there is no water, so some animals eat other animals and they get the water, or you can say the moisture. Moisture means nami. जो नमी उन्हें जो वाटर उनको रिक्वायर होता है, they get that water from the moisture which is present in the meat of other animals to whom they eat. Other eat plants and seeds and get the water they need from plant juices. And some animals eat plants and they get water, or you can say moisture, from the plants juices. Now desert plants also adapt themselves to the life they lead. Now just like animals, जो plants हैं वो भी खुद को adjust करते हैं. Cactus plants store water in their thick stem. Like now, just like camel, cactus store water in its stem. Stem means जो उनका thick तना होता है उसमें. Their roots lie close to the surface of the ground and quickly absorb the moisture from the light rains that occasionally fall. Occasionally means not regularly, like sometimes. इट मीन जो कैक्टस के रूट्स होते हैं वो सरफेस के बहुत क्लोज होते हैं एंड इफ़ इट रेन्स देयर दे एब्जॉर्ब द वाटर फ्रॉम द ग्राउंड immediately. The major feature of all deserts is, of course, dryness and variations of temperature. Now डेजर्ट का जो मेजर फीचर होता है वो है ड्राइनेस एंड वेरिएशंस मीन्स changes in temperature. In humid climates, the moisture in the air acts like a blanket and protects the earth's surface from the hot rays of the sun. Now in humid climate means जहाँ पर हवा में humid means नमी होती है वहाँ पर moisture act like a blanket and protect earth from hot rays of sun. Just like we use blanket in winter to protect ourselves from the cold. The absence of this blanket in desert lands causes the desert to heat up rapidly during the day and to cool off rapidly at night. Now, because there is no moisture in desert, so there is no blanket to protect the surface of the desert. That's why desert gets very hot during the day and very cool during night. Deserts are an important part of nature's great plan. Deserts are also important part of the entire nature which is created by God. They are there like the dense forests and the deep oceans. Now, writer says that they are as important as the forests and deep oceans. Just because they are hot and dry, one should not look upon them as useless parts of the earth. Just because the deserts used to be hot and dry, we should not consider any desert a useless part of the earth. Deserts are also useful for the earth. So, our chapter is complete now.